All right, I got the Young Electric dual bike folding e-bike carrier, and it has been great, and it's built for carrying two extremely heavy e-bikes, which it does a great job of that. However, most of the time, I only have the need to carry one e-bike, and when I use the dual carrier, when I fold it up, it covers up my license plate, so most of the time, I just don't need it. It's a bit overkill. So I got the single bike carrier, which should be a lot better for my needs. For the purpose of removing and installing the rack, we've got this bolt here that comes in through the other side, and there's this cotter pin that goes up through and holds it and keeps it from slipping if it would loosen up. Here's the bolt on the other side. We just remove that to pull this out, and you can use a ratchet, but I'm going to cheat and use a driver here. So that comes out. Now the thing is ready to pull out. And this single unit is a lot more manageable than the double unit. This thing is a lot more lightweight. So yeah, it comes out that easy, and it goes right back in just as easy. Nothing to it. All right, let me give you a quick look around at why I like this one more than the double unit that I have. Now the double unit is great when I need to haul two bikes, but like 90% of the time, I don't need to haul two bikes, so this one is going to be plenty enough for me. But as you can see, with this folded up, it doesn't block my license plate, and it doesn't block my tail lights, so that is a huge bonus for me. And like I said, 90% of the time, I'm going to be hauling one bike anyway. This is the ramp right here, and you've got this pin that slides through and holds it in place. And you've got this thing that wraps around and locks it into place and keeps you from losing the pin. And then you can pull the ramp out. Now when you pull the ramp out with a van like what I have, you can open your tailgate and it doesn't get in the way, no problem. But with the ramp in place, your tailgate is going to hit the ramp. So normally I'm probably just going to haul this with the ramp inside the vehicle. It doesn't take up that much space, but if you have a car or a hatchback that clears that, it makes sense just to leave the ramp on there all the time. Anyway, to use it, you take the ramp off, and then you've got this pin here. You pull that out, and then you swing that down, and you put the pin back in place down here. Then you run your cotter pin down in there, and now you're ready to load the bike up. Then you take your ramp, and it's got these hooks. They go into those holes right there, and then you can run your bike up that ramp, or you can just lift the bike onto the ramp. And you see this pin dangling here. Don't worry about that while you're loading the bike. That is what holds the ramp in place. When you put the ramp back on, you put that back in place and it doesn't dangle as you're driving anymore. Then pull all your straps out, which this is easier to do with two hands too, and have those hanging like that. And again over here, unstrap that and have them hanging. Alright, so I got everything set up to put the bike on the rack now. I got the ramp in place. You want to push this forward a bit. You don't want this to be back behind the back tire. Once you get the bike on, you're going to slide this back and lock it down, and that's going to help stabilize the bike. You're going to want to have this pole, this black pole here, laying down, and as soon as you put the bike on the rack, you're going to want to lift this up. And then you want this laying within arm's reach somewhere where you can grab that and slide it down on this pole, and that's going to stabilize the bike. Once you've got the bike stabilized with this, you can go hands-free with it, and everything else is going to be pretty easy. And you'll notice that I've got all of these straps unhooked. You'll want to do that before you put the bike on the rack. So we're going to roll the bike up the ramp, over the front wheel over the hump, drop the front wheel into this cubby here, and then slide this back to lock the back wheel. But the first thing we want to do is grab this, put the stabilizing unit on there, lock the bike into place, because after that we can go hands-free with the bike. And this is the Cyber Velo EK11. This thing weighs about 70 to 80 pounds. If you've got a bigger bike, what you can do is you can take the battery off to reduce the weight. I think it's a good idea to take the battery off anyway. So I've got the battery off of this, and I keep it inside the van when I haul things anyway, just because, one, it does reduce the weight and takes a lot of weight off of the rack, but also it's more security for the battery. So here we go, up the ramp, front wheel over the hump, okay, maybe, over the hump, down the cubby. So now I'm going to raise this pole back here and find a spot to lock that into place, stabilize the bike. So I'm dropping this down now, and I'm going to bring this strap back, and I'm going to run the strap through and lock that down. And that's pretty tight right there. So now at this point I can go hands-free with the bike and do whatever I need to do to strap the rest of the bike down. So what I'm going to do is run the hump back onto the back wheel, and we're going to lock that into place. Now we're going to run this strap up through, pull that tight, and then we're going to run this strap through the front wheel, and pull that tight. Easy as that. Now she's ready to haul. And I have to say it, that ain't going anywhere. Now I can pull the ramp off, and we can run that. Now with the ramp back in place, I can put this pin back through there and lock that with its securing doohickey there. And we're good to go, ready to haul. Now if you haul really, really big 26-inch fat tire bikes, you might have some overhang in there. You can do it, and I show in my 2-unit video how to do it with bigger bikes. And one of the things with bigger bikes is that I found that adding an additional ratchet strap probably does help secure the bike a little bit better. And like I said, if you leave this anywhere in a high theft area, I would get like a bike lock and run around here and secure your bike to the rack for that little bit of extra theft prevention. But we're ready to go. Let's take it down the road and see how she does. All right, I am headed down the bumpiest country road that is near my home, and if this thing can hold up to this road and stay on that rack, it'll hold up to anything. So I'm going to go down this road, and I'm not going to be taking it easy, and I'm going to be turning around at the end and coming back the other direction where I will not be taking it easy as well. And I'm keeping an eye on it back there. It looks like it's swaying a bit, but it is staying on the rack, so that's good. Yeah, we got some hellish bumps and curves on this road here. And it's raining. I got that demonstration done earlier just in time. Alright, now we're going through a bumpy gas station parking lot to turn around and go back down Old Bumpy again. And this gas station parking lot is not in the best condition. Alright, here we go back down the old bumpy road. And I'm doing about 50 miles per hour. That's a lot faster than I would normally take this road. Normally this is about a 35 mile per hour road. There's some fierce bumps there. Around the curve. A few more bumps. Another curve. Here comes some nasty bumps. Here comes another really sharp curve. And the last of our bumps. Now this is being done as just a test. Normally I would not drive this reckless with a bike on a rack on the back of my vehicle like this. This is just meant to be an extreme test. And that is it for the bumpiest of bumpy roads. We're going to pull off somewhere, hop out, and take a look and see how it held up. Alright, so those bumps were actually so rough that it shook the Magic arm mount on my camera loose. So I probably didn't get all of that footage, but this was clamped down pretty tight, and those bumps and vibrations knocked that loose. Now let's take a look at the bike and see how it held up. Really what I'm looking for here are loose straps. So these stayed tight, stayed cinched down. Back one stayed cinched down. And our stabilization point stayed cinched down too. So this actually rode a lot more stable than the 2-unit system does, which makes sense because there's less weight and it doesn't stick out as far, so it is just going to ride more stable. Okay, just as an extreme test, here is something that I do not recommend doing with this, but I want to test it as a stress test anyway. I've got one of these mini e-motos, and I want to haul it with this rack and see if it's going to be okay. Now the problem with this is that this exceeds the recommended weight limit by about 30 pounds. It's got a 100-pound weight limit. This thing is like 128 pounds. So this is a hefty bike to be hauling on here. Now I could take the battery out and reduce that weight and get it down under 100 pounds. But like I said, I want to do this as an extreme test and see if this is going to hold up. All right, that actually held up really well. It held up a lot better than I expected it would, and maybe it's just because all of the weight is concentrated in one area, so that worked out very, very good. Before I wrap up this video, there is one thing I do want to point out, and that is that Young does have a very clear set of video instructions on how to put the 2-unit model of this together. Now, they don't have a video for this specific model, but if you follow the instructions for the 2-unit model, it's going to be very clear and make a lot of sense on how to put this together. It's pretty self-explanatory on how to put it together anyway. I filmed it, but my instructions were kind of like janking all over the place. So if you follow the instructions on the 2-unit model, you're going to be able to put that together very easily. As a matter of fact, if you just look at a picture of it, you're going to be able to figure it out pretty easy. Anyway, that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.